Hi Cancer, welcome back to the Tarot 33 channel. This is your August 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and I also pulled the 4 agreements, wisdom of the oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start this reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we have Mercury, and Mercury is actually going to be in Virgo for most of August, and then toward the very end it'll move into Libra. And of course, Virgo for you guys is your third house communication, so could be some significance around communication for sure this month. And speaking of Virgo, we also have Virgo here. So like I said, that's your third house communication, so there could definitely be a lot of focus around communication, short journeys, siblings. And of course, as we get toward the end of August, the sun will move into Virgo too. And then we have 12th house, so that's Gemini. And astrologically speaking, there's not really anything going on there, but 12th house, generally speaking, relates to spirituality, blind spots, and mental health. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. Well, actually, now I think about it, Mars will be moving into Gemini a little bit past the middle of the month. But yeah, with your main situation cards, we have the Sun and the Seven of Cups. So this is Scorpio energy here. And then challenging that, we have the Two of Cups. So for some of you, this could just be saying that you're possibly on the lookout for a meeting of the minds, and you might just be finding that there's a little bit of difficulty around that. For some of you, could just be saying that you have too many options. So, well, I guess depending on who you are, that's a good or a bad thing, right? But it could just be saying that maybe you have too many choices around you right now, and you could just be having a little bit of difficulty figuring out which is the right one. Now this could be around romantic connections for sure, but it could be almost anything, especially given that this is a Cancer energy, so this is one of your cards. So yeah, looks like that's the main thing right now. Looks like you could just be getting recognized in some way, but not necessarily sure which choice you want to make around the situation. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Four of Cups. So yeah, could just be saying that the options that you had up to this point weren't necessarily satisfying you. This represents the last 10 degrees of Cancer, so you could have been feeling this way toward the very end of Cancer season 2. But yeah, just like whatever choices you were being given, you weren't necessarily feeling like you were on the same page with them, right? Now, I will say, if that's the case, what these cards could be saying there then is for some of you, maybe the challenge is you have this idealized vision, right? That everything would be perfect right from the beginning. So just be on the lookout for that. I don't necessarily feel like that's the case for the majority of you, but that is a possibility. All right, in the past position, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So yeah, to me, this says that you weren't necessarily taking action around the situation. And again, because like I said, maybe you just felt like whatever opportunities were coming your way just weren't the right fit for you. So you might have felt like, okay, I could go down that path, but it's not really moving me, right? So you might have just felt like you were better off not taking those opportunities. All right, in the present position, we have the Magician and the Nine of Cups. So yeah, these two cards here are pretty potent, and to me this is saying don't underestimate your ability to impact the situation, so, and that's generally a message that can come across with the Four of Cups too, right? Because if we just look at the artwork there, what I usually say when I see this card and why it could be a frustrating energy is we see that they're being offered more cups, but of course it looks like it's more of the same thing that this person doesn't want anyway, right? So it's saying, well, the difficulty there is those same things you don't want might keep coming your way. So the key is to actually go after what you do want, right? So that could be what the Magician and Nine of Cups is saying here too, which is to say, okay, well, yeah, you might not be satisfied with what's being offered to you right now, but you have the potential to change that. And if that's the case, could just be saying by looking at things, trying to see what those situations have been trying to teach you, because this is ninth house energy for you guys. So it could just be saying looking at things from a higher perspective, right? And, that's what they say sometimes. For example, sometimes you need to be around what you don't want to figure out what you truly do want, right? So maybe that's what these types of offers have been teaching you through saying, oh no, yeah, for sure, that's not something I do want, that gets you closer to figuring out what you do. All right. In the near future position, we have the Two of Wands. So definitely a jump there from that Ace of Wands and the reverse that we see in the past. It looks like in the near future, you guys will actually be ready to take action. For some of you, this can't even be around career decisions that you might have to, given that that's what Aries energy represents for you guys. But yeah, looks like you're definitely going to be more action oriented in the near future. All right. And in the position of your influence on the situation, we have Judgment. So usually I view this as a Scorpio energy, and this can represent things coming back around from the past. So, okay, let's look at another possible generic way this could have gone, right? Maybe there was someone from your past that you might have felt like, oh, I don't know if this person is the right fit for me, right? So you might have left the connection aside, right? And now, as you've been out there getting exposed to new people, that might have helped you realize, oh, okay, you know what, maybe this person was a really good fit for me, but the timing was just off, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, this looks like this is definitely saying you can reconnect with something from your past. And again, like I said, maybe it's even around career things, right? Where maybe something that you thought that you didn't necessarily want to do anymore might actually start to regain appeal with you again. All right, in the environment position, we have the High Priestess. So yeah, I feel like this is definitely saying that for you guys, you really would benefit from tapping into your intuition. Now, if nothing else, I did mention the fact that Mars will be moving into Gemini. So if you feel like your intuition's a bit lacking, when Mars gets in there, it's probably going to really spark it quite a bit. So you might start to get a whole lot of things intuitively that come to you around that time. And that might be actually what helps spark that desire in you to take action. So definitely be on the lookout for things you get intuitively this month, just feelings that you might get. You guys tend to be pretty good intuitively in general, but that might just ignite that energy in you even more. If this is representing another person, could this be saying that maybe that could be a difficulty with you guys where you might have difficulty reading them because they could be really withdrawn and not necessarily outwardly express themselves too often. But I feel like they definitely do observe things, so they probably know more about the situation than you would think. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Hermit. So yeah, this is probably a hope for the majority of you, especially given that we saw the Virgo energy and the Mercury energy come up for you guys. Where I feel like this is saying that for a lot of you, you might just be hoping for a little bit more time to evaluate the situation before you do take action on it. Especially if you like put him back in the spread, he's kind of looking right toward that Two of Wands, right? So on the one hand, you could have that desire to take action, but there's also a part of you that's like, all right, I just want to take a little more time to make sure I'm really making the right decision here, you know? And that's why I feel like that's primarily saying there. And if nothing else, again, this could be another indicator that if you don't feel like you're quite ready in the early part of the month, as we get closer to Virgo season, toward the end of August, that might be the time when you feel like you are going to get that insight. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Five of Swords. So this is Aquarius energy here, and of course this could point to like a petty conflict. And again, I got to point out we do see the Mercury energy, so just be on the lookout around communication. Now, especially given that this is Aquarius energy, I would say be on the lookout for that Aquarius full moon, which will be around, I think around the 12th of the month, give or take a day, depending on where you are. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty intense full moon. So I would say regarding any important conversations you might want to have, I would say avoid around that time. Maybe wait till after the energy is passed. So let's say maybe from the 15th on. And then, like I said, around that same time, that's when Mars will be moving into your 12th house. And we'll get into Virgo season, right? So could be one of those things where possibly that full moon energy might be a bit rough. And that could lead to some petty arguments. So if there are important conversations you're trying to have, I would say try to avoid that. But aside from that, I feel like this would be a bit of a blip on the radar overall, because I mean, you have major arcana in your position, the environment, the main position, and the present. So overall, those definitely kind of overpower this energy here. But yeah, it could definitely be an annoyance at the very least. So just a super generic example, like you know how when someone's still mad at you or you're still mad at them and they might offer to do something with you, right? But you're still angry and you might want to do that thing, but you say no because you're still a little annoyed. It could just be something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be the end of the world by any means, but definitely a bit of an annoyance for sure. All right, and bottom of the deck, we have the King of Wands. So this is Leo energy here. And I feel like this is just saying, especially that we'll be in Leo season for the first few weeks, that you're going to feel your confidence start to grow around a situation. And if this is around a financial thing, like I mentioned, for some of you can be around your career, you could see some growth there for sure too, especially given that we see the World card beneath that. All right, so moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have always do your best. And it doesn't want to focus. Well, you could kind of see it, I'm sure. But yeah, it says take your life and enjoy it. And let's see if it wants to cooperate now. There we go, much better. It says you are alive, so take your life and enjoy it. You were born with the right to be happy, to love, and to share your love. Just to be. To take a risk and enjoy your life is all that matters. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. Definitely reminds me of that Two of Wands energy we see in the near future too, and also the Magician, technically. So hopefully that resonated with you. All right. And from the Wisdom of the Oracle, we have Truth Be Told. There's the artwork, and the number is 14. Okay, essential meanings says honesty, accepting things at face value, coming out of denial, the willingness to be transparent, clarity of communication. The Oracle's message, there's the truth, which is the essence of a thing, and then there is a truth, subjective according to the philosophy of the adherent or believer. This is not a time for debate about which truth is truer. This is a time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open in your communication with others and with yourself. Nothing less than surrender to what is, peeling off the layers of denial that kept you tied to an illusion, will set you free. Be authentic and gloriously flawed, and spirit will answer with miracles. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. And given that we did see the Mercury energy and the Virgo energy, both third house things for you, could just be saying that overall this can be a good time for you to communicate too, and know that your words will be coming across clearly. Like I said, with the exception of maybe around that full moon, I'd say definitely avoid important conversations around that time if you can. All right, the relationship message says people tell you who they are very quickly if you're willing to listen to what they say and pay attention to how they behave. This card calls you to engage in heartfelt, open conversation. It's time to see the truth about what you share with each other and tell the truth about who you are and what you need. No one can do that for you. Remember that your truth is always based on your personality and experience up to now. A higher truth will be found after you communicate honestly and see how doing so has helped you become more attuned to yourself. Don't hold back. Speak your truth and listen. So yeah, again, about communication there, right? And the dice seem to align with that as well. So, and not to mention, toward the very end of the month, Mercury's going to go into shadow too, and then eventually in September it will be retrograde. So overall, this would be a good month to just communicate. All right, and the prosperity message says, are you willing to do whatever it takes to experience the prosperous life you desire? If you want to be an artist, do you make art your priority? If you want to be a healer, do you set time aside to learn new things to help you serve? A writer must write and a singer must sing. Being true to your calling is essential to your moving forward. There is another oracle message here too. It's time to have a look at the real, honest truth about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about prosperity, about your relationship to money, to compensation, and to meaningful work. Ask yourself, what is true for me? And you will find the key to abundance. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there, especially because, like I said, for some of you, this can be something around your career and possibly wanting to reconnect with something you used to do in the past. All right. And lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. So this is the mudra here. It's the Anjali mudra, and the keyword for it is reverence. All right. And there's the info on it. If you want to pause, you could take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But it says, calming and centering, facilitates connection to the heart and central channel, evokes feelings of humility, reverence, and devotion. So if that sounds like a mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, so we'll put the name in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, and we'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.